When I was growing up, I used to hear my mother say, the world is going to hell in a handbasket. I'm 63, and I never thought I would live to see what's happening now in this world happen in my lifetime. She's gone now, she never lived to see it. A lot of Jamaicans and people from across the diaspora and other places, they made the move to go to another country, venture to another country to build a new life. But where they are living now is not the same as when they moved there. It has become more hostile, more expensive. And lately, a lot of people have been looking at their lives and feeling the pull to either come back home or move to somewhere more accepting. If any of that sounds familiar to you, then this is for you. In this video, I want to speak to two different groups of people. The first is the Jamaican who left. You've built your life in the UK, Canada, the US, or maybe somewhere else entirely. You went for opportunity, for family, for safety, for education, and now, at whatever stage of life you're in, the question is starting to form. Could I go back? Should I go back? What would happen if I did? The second person I want to talk to is those born abroad to Jamaican parents or who have Jamaican grandparents. You grew up with Jamaica in the house, in the food, the music, the stories, the pride. But Jamaica itself is a place you've only visited. It's not a place you've lived. And something in you is asking whether it could be home, whether you could make it home. Let me start with what is different now, because the Jamaica people left behind is not the Jamaica that exists today. And I want to go beyond the headlines, because the real reasons to come home are not just about crime statistics. They are about your quality of life, your finances, your food, your family, and your sense of self. If you're earning a pension, remote income, or even holding savings in foreign currency, the exchange rate, it works powerfully in your favor. What feels like a modest income in the UK, Canada, or the US becomes a genuinely comfortable life in Jamaica. This is not a small thing. This is the difference between surviving month to month and actually living well. People who have made this move describes the financial relief as one of the first things they feel. The pressure lifts, the numbers make sense in a way that they stop making sense abroad. And if you work remotely, if your income is not tied to a physical location, you can earn in foreign currency and live right here in Jamaica. That is a powerful thing, because guess what? It was not available to most people who left Jamaica a generation ago. All right, let's move on to the climate. Spring, summer, winter, fall, we have sun through it all. All right. Anyway, in Jamaica, you step outside and step right into the sun. You have beaches in almost every parish that you go. You have the warmth constantly. We get cold front here, but we Jamaicans ball about cold front. The honor is just another little day, right? This is part of your daily life. You don't have to pay thousands of dollars to go anywhere to find warmth. They're right here in your backyard. This normalization of warmth in your body every single day, that will change the way your body feels over time. Next up, let's take a look at the food. When you live here, you always have fresh, local, grown food, and you can get it close to anywhere there. You can pick ackee from the tree, you get breadfruit from the yard, you get kalalo, gungo peas, June plum, star apple, and mango. Fresh mango. Not know them send them in a box from 3 different countries. All of your food grow here and you can get it and buy it here. And because of this, you eat differently here. You eat better here. And if you have been away for years, your first proper home cooked meal when you come back to Jamaica will remind you of exactly what you have been missing. Because no matter how much Jamaican restaurants you go for, it is not the same as a Jamaican home cooked meal. All right. Another thing you'll find, listen, remember back in the day, our grandmother always could have go out in the bush, go pick some herbs and give you for whatever sickness you feel. This is long before the pharmacists start take the medicine and sell you for an arm and a leg. Right? When you come back here, you can get cerasy, you can get soursop leaf, you can get strong back guinea hen weed. Any form of herbs, you just go into the market and you can get it. And if you live a country, quite likely you can go find it in the bush. No, no matter how much Jamaican festival and party you go, the culture, it sits differently when you're there in your yard. The music sound different. The language, can you imagine everybody where I talk around you sound like you? And our humor, it kind of different. The way people move through the world here, we just direct and upfront, you know that. Infrastructure is being built. Business development is active across multiple sectors. Real estate opportunities are opening in parishes that were overlooked a decade ago. If you're coming with capital, skills, or vision, this is a meaningfully different environment from the one many people left behind. The country is not finished building, and that means there is space for people who are ready to be part of what comes next. The high stress grind of North America and European cities takes something from you over time. It is not just tiredness, it is a kind of deadening. You work hard to afford a life you are too exhausted to enjoy. The pace in Jamaica is not slow because nothing is happening. It is slower because people here have not forgotten that life itself is what you're actually trying to get to. That recalibration, returning to a pace that feels human, is one of the many things returning residents say surprised them most. In most places abroad, your neighbors do not even know your name. You can live in the same building for 5 years and pass someone in the corridor without either one of you speaking. Here, people know your family. They know your face. They know where you come from. That kind of recognition, the feeling of being seen, of belonging somewhere without having to prove it, that is something money cannot buy back once it's gone. And the support that comes with community. You have someone to watch the children. No, we're no better than yard. That is not just a saying, it is something returning residents describe feeling in their body when they come home. The sense of being in the right place, of not having to explain yourself, of not being an immigrant or an expat or someone from somewhere else, of simply being home in the full and complete meaning of that word. For people who have spent years being the Jamaican in a room full of people who are not, that feeling of finally being in the majority, of your accent being the normal one, your references being understood, your culture not needing translation. This is something you have to experience to fully understand. Okay, so now let's talk about crime. Because one of the things that people like to promote is that Jamaica full of crime and you can't live here, which is completely untrue. Don't get me wrong. We have more crime than we should. But this is not unique to us, and you can live in Jamaica taking the same precautions and live safely. In 2025, Jamaica recorded a 43% reduction in murders nationally. This is the lowest homicide count in over 30 years. That is not a government talking point. That is a sustained and measurable shift in the security environment that people living here feel in their daily lives. It is not the whole story, and I'm not going to pretend crime is not still a reality in some communities. But the trajectory is different, and for people whose decision to leave was shaped in part by safety concerns, that change is worth knowing about. And right now, the government is not just tolerating your return, it is supporting it. The Jamaica Information Service and the Jamaican Customs Agency both have dedicated returning resident units set up specifically to help you settle. That infrastructure exists because the country understands that what you bring back when you come home is very valuable. The skills that you bring, the capital that you bring, the experience, and the next generations of Jamaicans. Your return is valued. There are systems in place to help make it work. All right, so let me tell you a little bit about the returning resident program and what you're entitled to, right? All right, if you've been living abroad for 3 or more years and you're returning to Jamaica permanently, the government has a formal concessions program for you. As a qualifying returning resident, you are allowed to import a specific quantity of personal and household effects and tools of trade free of customs duty, provided you have lived abroad for at least 3 consecutive years. The duty-free concessions cover clothing, personal items, furniture, and household appliances. Vehicles are handled differently. There are no duty exemptions on motor vehicles for returning residents, but you are entitled to import a vehicle up to 10 years old, provided it has been in your possession for at least 6 months. Full duties and taxes apply, and an import license from the Trade Board is required before the vehicle arrives. Kindly take note that the concession is granted only after an interview with Jamaica Customs on arrival, not before. All goods must be imported within 6 months of your arrival, and the concession is a once-in-a-lifetime benefit, so plan carefully. Non-Jamaican spouses are granted the same concessions as their Jamaican partner, and they are also entitled to live and work in Jamaica alongside their spouses. For full details, contact the Jamaica Customs Agency Returning Residence Unit. I will link that in the description below. All right, so one thing I need you to be careful of, you're going to have to readjust to living in Jamaica, especially if you left years ago or if you've never lived here full time, right? You have to adjust to the pace, the difference in the systems, and the social dynamics. All of these will require an adjustment period. Give yourself time to settle before you make judgments. Financial and housing experts who work with returning residents also consistently recommend renting for 6 to 12 months before buying property. You have to learn to understand the local conditions of where you choose to live. You have to look at the infrastructure reliability. You have to measure the community dynamics and see if it is something that you can adjust to before you commit to a purchase. And that is sound advice regardless of how certain you feel when you arrive. All right, so another question that I've seen come up is that people ask, how safe is it to return to the old community that you used to live in? Now, you have to know more, especially if you've not visited and been in the community. The community you leave behind and the community that they know is not the same thing, right? Everybody change. You change, them change. Everybody change. And the years between has created a gap that is not always easy to bridge, right? What can happen in that gap? Many returning residents will tell you that it is hard, right? Even if they don't say it publicly, it is a particular kind of social friction because you come back different, you have a different accent, you have different exposure, you have different income, you have different outlook. And even people who love you, the difference can stir something complicated. So it's not always about money. It is about the fact that you leave and they stayed. And you have changed in ways that they cannot relate to. And so you have to be careful of that. I am not saying by any means don't go back to your original community. I'm not saying it's the wrong choice, but you have to think about it carefully. How well could you readjust to living there before you make that commitment?
Jamaica is still here the same way it has always been. There has been some changes, but Jamaica is just Jamaica. It still has everything that made you love it and everything that made you leave. But the question is whether who you are now with everything you have learned and built and carried is ready for what it offers in return. If this is something you're seriously considering, start with the research. I have videos on cost of living, safety, banking, and the legal requirements for moving to Jamaica. And I will drop the playlist in the pinned comment. Drop your questions in the comment below and let me know where you are in this journey. I read every single one and I love hearing from you. If this video helped you in any way, I would love it if you would give it a like, share it with someone who is thinking about the move, or someone who is not even thinking about it. It might prompt them to start thinking about it. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next video in this Moving to Jamaican series or any other video that I put up, because I talk about Jamaica all the time. My name is Claudette and I am your Jamaican Gypsy Granny, and I will see you next time. Ciao.